Hey everybody, I just want to do a quick video to weigh in on this whole counterfeit Gibson or Chibson debate. It seems like a lot of people have been talking about that lately with the US Customs seizing a ton of these guitars. And I previously made a video showing this Chibson and comparing it to a real Gibson, which there was like a lot of discussion in the comments about. And I just wanted to give you an update on the changes I made to it and what it sounds like now. So first of all, regarding my last video that I made comparing this Chibson to an actual Gibson Les Paul, obviously there's no comparison between those two instruments. The Gibson Les Paul is made of much higher quality materials. It's made by much better craftsmen. It sounds better, it feels better, plays better, looks better. It's just better in all regards. So that being said, like I covered in my last video, this is a really nice guitar that plays really well for the price point in the $200 range. And I did make some adjustments to it, which I will tell you about shortly. But before I get to that, I just want to talk about the ethical issues behind buying a guitar like this that's obviously a counterfeit. So from my perspective, there's two issues with these guitars. The main is if you are putting the Gibson logo on this guitar and putting the Made in the USA and the fake serial number on the back, and then trying to pass this off as a Gibson, obviously that's massively unethical, and that's a scam. That's the definition of a counterfeit. And so obviously I'm totally against that. However, if you look at it from the point of view that these guitars really don't compete with actual Gibsons, I would imagine that everyone who buys these guitars off AliExpress knows that these aren't actual Gibson guitars. So it's not like they're actually trying to scam people. What they really are doing is making a counterfeit copy at a very low price range. So I think they're actually targeting a consumer who is not going to spend $2,000 on a Gibson Les Paul, but wants a quality guitar in the $200 price range and, you know, likes the features of a Les Paul. So from that respect, these Chinese manufacturers are not really infringing too much on Gibson because I don't think anyone really actually thinks they're getting a Gibson or Gibson quality when they order this guitar. Now, I would like to see them remove the Gibson logo and the Made in the USA and the serial number from the guitars so that there's really no confusion on these. One scenario I could see is that I own 4 Gibsons, authentic Gibsons, plus this one. And let's say I died and my family was going through my things and they found this guitar next to authentic Gibsons and they thought they were all real and then tried to sell this as an authentic Gibson. Like, that could be an issue. What I found out recently is that you can actually reach out to these manufacturers and ask them to put a different logo or no logo at all on the guitar. And you could probably also ask them not to put the Made in the USA and the serial number on the back. And that would kind of solve the issue of the counterfeiting of the guitars. And you can even get your own logo put on there. So I think if I was going to order another one of these, I would do something along those lines, like maybe have no logo or like make up some cheesy logo to put on there. So that's my opinion on this. I know everyone's going to have like a little different opinion on it. But for me, this is not keeping me from buying a Gibson. If I want a Gibson and, you know, I can afford to buy a Gibson, I'm going to get a Gibson. There's no real comparison to this. So with that out of the way, I want to talk about the modification that I made to this guitar, which I think really makes it a nice player guitar. What I did was I swapped out the stock humbucker that the guitar came with. It was a little thin sounding. It didn't have a lot of distinction between the notes, and the tonal quality of it was fine for the price point, but not great. So what I did was I put in this Gibson P94 pickup, and the P94 is basically just a P90, like a high output single coil pickup that fits the humbucker slot. They're a very kind of aggressive pickup. They're high output, but they also have a lot of clarity and distinction between the notes. So that's the bare minimum I've done to this guitar to make it kind of a good player guitar, something that I might even gig with. In the long run, you're probably going to want to change out the tuners and maybe some of the other hardware. I'm not sure how well it's going to hold up. And then the volume pots and tone pots are very small. They're the smaller size, so they're not the standard Gibson size that you would normally see. So those might go. They might not sound good in the long run. You might need to change those out. But as of right now, the only thing I've done to it is the pickup. So here's what it sounds like with the new pickup. So overall, with that new pickup, it's got some decent sustain. It's got a lot of clarity. I'm actually very happy with the way it sounds. It sounds very similar to a Les Paul. I know there's going to be a lot of people who aren't happy to hear me say that, but that's the way I feel about it. And I honestly think that I got very lucky with the supplier that I found on AliExpress. I think there's a lot of variability between these guitars and manufacturers. So really do your homework if you're going to buy one of these things. I spent a lot of time reading a lot of reviews. I found a supplier that had a long history, had a lot of reviews, had reviews that made sense. That's another thing. Some of them are kind of random and they seem fake. I found reviews with pictures of the actual guitar that the person received, as well as their review. And I reached out to them before purchasing just to check to make sure there was like a person who was capable of responding. So I think if you do all of those things before you buy, you'll have the same experience that I do. So that's it for this one. I hope you liked the video. If you appreciate this content, please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel out a lot. And check out my website, scottobryanguitar.com. I've got the tab for hundreds of punk, rock, and grunge songs up there and other resources. And I will see you guys next time.